to order, right?
Yes.
6:08. You want to do the roll call, all that good stuff for us, Summer?
I will. So, Deb Willems,
Present?
Teresa Brown,
Here.
Lisa Morales. Here. Okay.
Thank you. And the board will take action to approve the agenda as presented and amended and put out on our webpage. So I vote on that, right? I make a motion to approve our agenda.
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote then. Deb Willems,
Aye.
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Teresa Brown.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Just to confirm, was there any public comment on non-agenda items?
There was not.
And any public comment on agenda items?
There was not.
All right, then we will move forward to our reports. I was hoping we'd start with the executive director report, but we could start with the board report. I actually have nothing to report. Is there any other board members who have anything to report? I might think of something. So I guess just in general, also just kind of keeping up and keeping in contact with everything that's going on with the state. So looking forward to hearing Meg's report, and as we've transitioned over to her as our executive director. So I'll turn it over to Meg and hear your report for us.
Thank you. It's nice to see everybody. I will make a note to flop those on the next agenda. So the ED report can go first if you like. But basically, my report is just a little status update on certain things. I did share with the board my Google Doc, just my list of what I'm going to kind of cover in this report. So you can refer to that if you like. I wanted to just take a moment to speak about the learning continuity and attendance plan, which is one of those updates from the state that Deb made reference to. It very eerily sounds like the LCAP that you all are probably familiar with, the report that has been typically required of schools up until this year. The state's decided to replace the LCAP for the current school year, the upcoming school year, with what they're calling the Learning Continuity and Attendance Plan. And just basically what this is a document to ask schools to identify how they're going to address distance learning, transitions between distance to in-person learning, and as well as the funds that will be used to support students and to address any learning loss that might have occurred due to school closures from the spring. So it's a very tight timeline. Schools have to, well, they're still finalizing the template at the state level. They're fairly close, and they say they will have it finalized and completely available by August 1st. So that's coming very soon. And then we basically have like a month and a half-ish to engage stakeholders and gather all the information and complete the report. Then it goes to the board. It has to be adopted by September 30th. So, and it requires a public hearing ahead of the regular meeting or the meeting where it would be adopted. So not on the same day, it has to be a different day. So our plan is to spend August gathering the necessary information and stakeholder input and composing the report. And then, as you'll see later on the agenda, I have scheduled tentatively, at least the dates, a public hearing for the Learning Continuity and Attendance Plan, and then we will adopt it prior to September 30th. Next on my update or my report is just a quick kind of summary of a recap of the current status of who's authorized to sign for our bank accounts. I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page with who those people are. And at this point, we have successfully transferred the bank accounts so that Deb and I are both signers on those accounts. So that's a good thing. We're working on getting our bank accounts all in order and statements going to the right places and those kinds of things with the transition to myself as executive director. And on a similar note, just to let you know, we have completed the application process for a new credit card. We have decided to close the Chase Inc. account that we have been using historically, apparently. And we are going to start with a Cal card, which is a credit card issued by the state for government agencies. And we have completed that application process and should be receiving our cards actually in the next few days, hopefully. Also related to finances, I just wanted to give you a little information about, you'll hear some more about our financial status coming up here very soon. But I just want to make the board aware that I am working with CSMC as well as Madi to make sure that we're looking for all available funding opportunities, making sure we're getting our applications in for funds that are made available by the state and the federal government, things that you might be hearing in the news, such as the ESSER funds and the learning loss mitigation funds. So we've actually already put our applications in, and we will wait to see when we receive those funds. I wanted to speak to enrollment for a moment. As you may or may not be aware, there was a trailer bill attached to the governor's, the state budget, and it's called SB 98. And what that effectively did was cap enrollment for all public schools to levels for 1920. So like any other public school, Olive Grove charter schools are all capped in the number of students, the ADA, the average daily attendance amounts for which we will actually be funded. So that has put a crimp on some of our plans for potential growth, which we have a great deal of interest given the pandemic and uncertainty of schools reopening and distance learning plans at traditional district public schools and those kinds of things. But we have to work with where we are. So we're looking for this school year at this point to be right around maybe 605 to 620 in terms of the total number of students amongst the charters. At this moment, we have 536 students fully enrolled. They've completed their enrollment packets, all their paperwork. And we have about 370 students who have already completed interest forms, meaning they've done the first step of enrollment to let us know they'd like to enroll, but they haven't. We've held them back from going to the step of completing the enrollment packet because we knew we were going to have to limit how many students we'd be able to take. So if you add those numbers up, you can see, again, we have a lot more interested than we will be able to take, given that we'll probably only be enrolling about 70 to maybe 85 of those 370 that are currently interested. Wow. Of course, some number of them that are fully enrolled already will actually probably have made other plans, will change their mind, and we will continue to fill those spots with those that have expressed interest through that interest form. And we'll go from there. It's a possibility that that enrollment cap might be changed. It would take an act of the legislature to do so. And there is talk that they might, but it could be months. So we have to go with the numbers that I was just talking about here. A few words about I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right, could you remind me again, what did you say the number is capped at right now? 630?
Well, no, 620 max. And it might even be more, it's somewhere going to be between 605 and 620. I'm still working out the specifics. We're funded based on the ADA, which is actually only a percentage of the number of students that enroll, because it's all based on, the ADA is based on the positive days of attendance that we can claim. So I'm working the logistics of determining exactly what that magic number is to to enroll the right number of students so that we end up claiming the attendance commensurate with those ADA caps. And again, some of it will be dependent on, if we have teachers with space and the costs involved to enroll additional students are not excessive or don't really impact things because the teachers are already working and they have space, we might take a few more than, just sticking straight to that ADA cap. So 605 to 620, somewhere in that range is what I'm looking at. Any other questions so far? Okay, just a few words about our plans for the start of school. Of course, we are gearing up for school to start. The first day for students is August 13th. Our directors and our Learning Center directors and counselors actually all return to work tomorrow. Teachers return on August 11th. We've got plans in place for those first leadership and teacher work days right ahead of the start of school. And then the students start August 13th. They'll begin the first few days with virtual orientation sessions, as well as initial meetings with their advising teachers, and they'll be off and running. Lastly, just a few words about some of our facilities and what's going on with leases and those kinds of things. Not a lot to report, but I just wanted to let you know that the lease on our Lompoc space, we are about to take possession of an additional space in Lompoc. So it's a new space that is actually just down the road from the current center there. And it's a little sad in a way because it's a nice space and we're taking it over, but we won't be able to put students in it, of course, because what I didn't say in my plans for reopening that I meant to say, and I'll step back for just a second, is that we will be reopening in a virtual model, completely virtual model. I should have said that before, because the governor has issued an order about 11 days ago, July 17th, he issued an order that schools in counties on the state's monitoring list may not reopen in person. We must reopen fully remotely. So we're perfectly capable and set up to do so, and we will do. And then there's regulations for schools in counties that are that are not on the monitoring list, which hopefully Santa Barbara County will achieve soon. There are lots of different guidelines and regulations for when we do reopen and return to the centers. But for now, we're starting entirely remotely, which takes me back to our Lompoc expansion space. We're taking the new space on. We're going to be getting it set up and ready, but we will not be able to put students in it until we're allowed to return to the sites. We also do need to have the CDE's approval on that site, on that specific location before we can allow students to. So I'm getting that worked out, but it's not a super hurry since we won't be putting the kids in there yet. And then I just wanted to also update you about our Orchid Santa Maria building, or the space there is actually, the lease expires on Friday. So I've been in communication with the property manager to extend that lease. Originally, they'd asked to extend it or they suggested we extend it for 5 years. The term of the charter, it's up in 3, so we've negotiated that, and we'll be extending that lease for 3 years so that it matches the term of that charter. And that's what I got for now. Other questions?
Meg, what is the address of the Lompoc, the new Lompoc site?
The address. Ooh, give me 1 second. It's on H Street.
Right.
It's the new spot is somebody?
Yeah, Mari just put it on there, 1313 North H Street.
1313?
Yeah.
Thank you, Monty.
Thank you.
I'll drive by and say hello to the building.
Yeah, it's in the Lompoc Shopping Center, I think is what the name of the area is. I mean, it's a strip mall situation. So
I know where it is.
good. Okay.
Yes, where
So it's empty. It's absolutely blank empty right now. We're about to put in some new flooring, and then, but otherwise it's just blank space. Any other questions I can answer right now? Oh, floors are gonna be done tomorrow. Okay.
And so, if there's no more questions for Meg, then next on the agenda is the financial report. Are we doing that today, Meg? With Mari?
There is not a whole lot of financials to do yet because it's we're on the year-end close and that always takes a little bit longer. So probably by the next board meeting we should be closed and we can report out the year-end financials. We have been working on the budget and I'll let Meg run that depending on what we need to talk about on that. But we still have work to do.
Okay, well, I guess we also have a spot on the agenda for training and presentations, but there's none for today's meeting. Correct? So next on the agenda, of the consent agenda, there's one item on the consent agenda, which is the meeting minutes from the June 16th meeting. So I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Lisa.
Any discussion on the consent agenda? All right. All
do
those for, yes, thank you, Summer.
Okay. Deb Willems,
Aye.
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Parisa Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, so our action agenda is approval of the resolution concerning measure to address the ongoing impacts of COVID-19. So we'll first make a motion on it and then we'll go through discussion. So I make the motion to approve the action item 8A. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay.
All right, so is there any discussion?
I just want to say, I'll leave it open to your discussion in a moment, but I just want to give just a quick background. Our attorneys, Young Mini and Core, have suggested broadly that school boards adopt such a resolution to ensure that the school's leader, in this case myself, has broad authority to make a wide range of decisions to respond to COVID-19. So this resolution it was drafted by an attorney at Young Mini and Core, and then I did fine tune it to meet our specific situation and circumstances. And it was again reviewed by that attorney after I had made my modifications. So I just want to make sure you knew that. And then also just want to let you know that it's always my intent to communicate with the board openly and as much as possible. But this resolution does give me some flexibility to make some decisions without board approval in the event they are absolutely necessary. And I'd be happy to answer any other questions anybody might have about the resolution or its contents.
Well, thank you for preparing that. I think from my perspective, I think it's very well documented, so I'm good with what's written. Anybody else have any questions or concerns on the proposed resolution? No. All right, I think in that case we could get to a vote.
Okay. Deb Willems,
Aye.
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Parisa Brown.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is approval of resolution delegating authority to personnel to act on the board's behalf. So I make the motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Thanks.
Okay.
Lisa. And discussion?
Again, I'll just say a few words and then answer any questions that I can. This is required by the county office, the county education office, in order, the big push here is that in order to access the county treasury, I need the authority to make requests for warrants or checks from the county. So They had sent this, some paperwork that we need to fill out, and I was instructed that it requires this kind of a board approval to authorize certain school personnel and board persons on the board to act on the school's behalf, on the board's behalf, and as district agents, as they call it. So there's sort of two components to it. The personnel authorized to act as district agents and the personnel authorized for release of the warrants from the County Office of Education. So I recommend approval, and then following that, there will be a form that we all need to put our John Hancocks on, and I will be sending that to you via DocuSign tomorrow so that we can make a request for a warrant ASAP because we need it.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions from the board? All right, Summer, take us to a vote.
Okay, Deb Willems,
Yes?
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Frieza Brown,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is approval. I make the motion to approve the revised Olive Grove Charter School budgetary policy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion. Meg, can you walk us through it real quick?
Sure, yes, this item is just a revision of this budgeting policy that was originally adopted by the board on June 17th of 2019. I have simply revised it to reflect the fact that we are now 4 charter schools. The 5th that was out of New Cuyama closed as of June 30, 2020, excuse me. So again, there's no substantial change. It's just to remove the 5th charter that's no longer in existence.
All right. Any other discussion?
Okay. Deb Willems,
Yes?
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Frieza Brown.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the public employee appointments. Meg, just to clarify, are we voting on this or is this just you to inform us? Is there an actual?
I do believe you should actually approve it. I'm sorry, I didn't put that on the agenda, but I do believe it should be approved.
Okay. So I make the motion to approve public employee appointments for David Jackson and Susan Sullivan as new education specialists. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll take Paris on that one.
So just a quick word, this is sort of a formality that the board does have the final authority to, on the hiring. But these are 2 individuals that have accepted positions to serve as in our special education capacity. So I can answer any questions that you might have.
Will they be at a specific center or where will they be focusing their work?
David Jackson will be splitting his time, and Summer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, between Santa Barbara and Buellton.
Yes.
And Susan Sullivan will be in Lompoc. But of course, everything will be virtual for the time being, but they will be, the case managers for those centers that I just mentioned.
Okay.
Correct, Summer?
Yes. Right on, Meg.
Learning.
Any discussion or questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Did we lose people or these are new positions?
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have mentioned that. We did have 2 resignations, I believe, Summer.
Yes.
So these are replacing 2 previous people in the same positions.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Stammering a bit there, but.
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Thank you.
Deb Willems,
Yes?
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Parisa Brown.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
All right. The next item on our agenda is to recognize that Lisa Morales is continuing on with her board as a member of our board. So her official term expired, but our bylaws do allow her to continue on as a board member. So thank you, Lisa, for continuing on. The next is to approve. We have two members of our community who are interested in joining our board, Jackie Height and Henry Galena. Did I pronounce it correctly, Henry?
Pardon?
How do you pronounce your last name?
Galena.
Galena. All right, good.
Yeah.
Kind of like Galita, but just a little. All right. So we'll make the motion first. I move to recognize Lisa continuing on and then approving two new board members, Jackie Height and Henry Galena. Is there a second? Don't everyone be in a hurry.
I'll second.
Right.
I didn't think I should.
Considering, right?
All right, so open to discussion. Maybe, Henry, do you want to just say hello to us and tell us a little bit about you? Obviously, we've read your bios and you and I have spoken a little bit, but just give you to talk to the board, ask us any questions you may have, or
Well, as I said, my name is Henry Galena, but I go by the name of Hank Galena. Thanks. I have been in education for almost 60 years. I've taught from second grade all the way up to postdoctoral students at the university. My biggest assignment has been with the Lompoc Unified School District, which I was with them for 38 and a half years. I was an elementary principal. I was coordinator for consolidated programs at the district office for about 17 years. And then I went into, I left the public schools in January of 2000 and went into higher education. And I got a position with Cal Poly, and I supervised student teachers for about 9 years at Cal Poly, and I was and I also worked at Cambridge College in their National Institute for Teaching Excellence program for about 10 years, and I helped them open that was back in Boston, and I helped to open their California campus and worked there for 5 years. And I'm now gotten involved with some city organizations and working with city organizations and so forth. I think Deb has a copy of my resume.
yes.
Yeah.
And we shared that with the board, so we appreciate that. So board members, were there any questions for Henry? Okay, Henry, Hank, if you had anything else, I'll open the floor over to Jackie and give you a chance to give us a little introduction about you.
Well, I certainly do not have the education experience that Hank has. I worked for 41 years for Raytheon. I worked with Deb. So that's how I came to seek out this position. I have been looking at the website for the charter school, and I've been very excited about it. I wish my grandchildren were in Lompoc and not in Colorado, because it would be a perfect situation for some of them. So anyway, I am retired. So I have all the time in the world right now. And with the pandemic, I have even more time than I wanted. So, so anyway, yeah, I'm excited about an opportunity and it will definitely be a learning experience for me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Jackie. We look forward to having, we know you're still a leader in the community, even if not in the education field, and a strong businesswoman, and you bring a nice perspective to the board and will help balance this out. So, and of course, Hank, we're very excited to have somebody with your education background and teaching. I think, again, you'll also help balance out the board very well.
One thing I need to say, I've been doing a lot of reading and stuff and talking, and one of the big things is that we are all connected. Everybody in this world, we're all connected. And as I had a conversation with Deb, and now I'm hearing Scott, that Scott, you and Deb and I are connected one way. When I was going to school, when I was going to Boston University, and during the summer, I was employed for 2 summers at Raytheon in Waltham.
Oh.
in the Waltham plant. I lived in Watertown, and so I worked for 2 summers at the Waltham plant, and I guess now it's corporate headquarters. So there was a connection there.
Yep.
That's great. Definitely a small world.
It is. It's a small world.
All right. Well, I'll turn it over to Prisa and Lisa and just follow up to see if you had any questions for Hank or Jackie, or if we're ready to vote.
No, I'm just glad you're both here. Thank you.
And no questions from me either. I enjoyed hearing about your background and reading your bios, and so thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
For the vote. Make it official.
Deb Willems,
Yes.
Lisa Morales,
Yes.
Parisa Brown.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay. We now have 5 board members. This is
Yay.
exciting.
Yay, welcome.
All right. Well, that's exciting. So the voting portion of our agenda is completed. So the next action is to talk about our 2020-2021 board meeting calendar. So thank you, Meg, for setting that out in advance. Hopefully all the board members have it. I don't know if we got that over to Hank and Jackie.
No.
No.
So we'll get
No.
that to you. It is tentative. So, like you kind of both mentioned, we're all sequestered at home, but we're flexible to move it with, with a little bit of advanced planning. But so this is kind of a tentative schedule.
And Deb, can I just make a couple comments about it?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know that I planned it out with some of the known deadlines that I'm aware of. The items that are listed under each date aren't. There'll be other things that will come up for each board meeting as well. These are just some of the major ones, but I just want to be clear that there will be more coming on to the agendas on these meetings. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that it's a lot of dates. I want to highlight the fact that in this calendar there are 6 regular meetings, 1 retreat and training sort of organizational meeting in August, and the other 3 dates are just public hearings. So there are several things that will be coming before the board that do require a public hearing on a date separate ahead of the meeting on which the item will be voted on. So I just wanted to point out that 3 of these dates I anticipate would be very quick meetings. We could have public that would want to speak, of course, to whatever the item is, and they're more than welcome to do so. But I specifically calendar those things by themselves. So that would just be a relatively quick meeting. And then the week following the public hearing would be the regular meeting on which those items would appear. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. And there is one Saturday event on August 22nd. That's tentatively scheduled to be our next meeting. I'm wondering if we need to have a meeting. Well, it's really only 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and I'm flexible on most of these dates. Like I said, there's certain deadlines, like we have to approve that learning continuity attendance plan by the 22nd, I mean, by the 30th. So that one has, that has to happen. But I'm flexible on the dates. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up is I didn't specify times ahead, except for tonight's meeting. And then that Saturday meeting, I just put it at 9:00 because I think typically it's a most of the day kind of event. But I'm flexible on time. So the board, it's up to the board to decide what time of day they wish to meet as well.
I think I would like us to add a meeting either August 11th or probably August 11th, just because so much stuff going on with the budget and with the COVID, just in case we need it. We had a regularly scheduled meeting. And then we can cancel it if it turns out we don't need it, but then we've got it scheduled. Does that sound okay?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
I am at your disposal.
Okay.
So we'll plan for 6:00. Is that the time that the board wishes?
It's good for me. Lisa,
Fine for me.
Okay, so we'll
Yes, good
plan.
for me as well.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You said it was okay, Parisa?
Yes, just saying it was okay for me too.
Great. So I will add August 11th at 6 p.m. And then in terms of anything else tentative, the August 22nd date, I just will need to schedule the training and things like that. So if that date isn't going to work, I'd like to know ASAP, if we want to shift that one to a different Saturday. Yeah.
What's the time on the August 22nd?
I had slated it for 9:00, but again, I'm flexible, so it's really up to what the board wishes. Again, typically, I believe, I have not, this would be my first time participating with this board, but I believe it would be most of the day.
Okay,
In virtual, it might be a little bit more concise time-wise because, we won't be together. And things tend to go a little bit faster oftentimes when we're virtual, but not always. So, 9, 10, it's really up to you.
okay, no problem.
and yeah, typically doing that, the board will get some Brown Act training. We'll probably go through some of our policies and procedures, see if anything to be amended, kind of, it's kind of nice. We try to get through our regularly scheduled evening board member meetings in an hour or two, and sometimes you want a little bit more time to work through things. So that kind of helps us set the tone for the school year.
Yeah, and it'll be great for newly joined board members. We'll get some organizational kind of things as well, and planning and the training. So again, I just need to schedule the training, the trainers.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
okay.
All right, it's my turn. So, and then any new business or future agenda? Anybody have anything that they would like us to talk about at a future meeting? It's not already on our tentative schedule. All right. Well, that being said, that would, the next portion of the meeting would be closed session. And so that would be for the board members who were slated before today. So Jackie and Hank, typically your voting rights would start at our next meeting. So we are gonna jump off of this call for maybe about, how long do you think, Meg? 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds about right, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So we
and
can
so-
close.
Yeah, you can, so what we'll do is we'll go to closed session and then we'll come back and report if we've voted on anything and report out to make it an official record. and then adjourn the meeting. So it would be about 15 or 20 minutes. So you're welcome to hang out until we come back, or you're welcome to drop off the line because there's no future actions after that. And then our next scheduled meeting will be August 11th.
Right.
So,
Okay.
guys, do you think you'll stay on, or do you want to? I just want to make sure we address you when we come back, so I know if you're here or not.
I think I'm going to drop off if that's okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Excited
you.
to be on the board. And then just to confirm, Lisa and Parisa, you've got the call-in number for the closed session?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
Did,
Deb,
did you want Kristen and I on that?
I think we do for the second bullet point have would like to have Kristen and Scott in that.
Yes. So we've got a first call, first one topic, and then I'll send you the info when we're ready for you to call in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So that call to close session. So what is that? 6:49, and so we're going to go to closed session.
That didn't take long.
Summer, are you back?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here typing.
Oh, there she is. Oh, you know what? I have my volume way down because somebody was still. All right, I'm back. Now I can hear you. Do we have everybody, Summer?
Yes, Parisa, you're on, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. This is your number. All right. So we're coming back at 7:22.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So we had 2 action items in the closed session. The first, we have nothing to report out on. And on the second item, we have authorized Meg, our executive director, to explore a reduction in staff to accommodate the state's limitations in budget and the direction on how that's going to impact Olive Grove, and also to accommodate the enrollment limitations in which we've, the caps that have been put on us for the 2020-2021 school year. Okay, so with that, I think that concludes our meeting. 22, we can